Chapter 7. Instrumentation. Introduction. The collection of data is an extremely important part of all research endeavors, for the conclusions of a study are based on what the data reveal. As a result, the kind of data to be collected, the method of collection to be used, and the scoring of the data need to be considered with care. This chapter defines what is meant by data and presents several types of instruments that can be used to collect data in a research study. The chapter also briefly discusses how to prepare the data for subsequent analysis and, finally, the different properties that scores are assumed to possess. What are data? The term data refers to the kinds of information researchers obtain on the subjects of their research. A. Key questions. The following questions arise when the researchers collect data. O. Where will the data be collected? O. When will the data be collected? O. How often are the data to be collected? O. Who is to collect the data? B. Validity, reliability, and objectivity. A frequently used, but somewhat old-fashioned, definition of a valid instrument is that it measures what it is supposed to measure. A more accurate definition of validity revolves around the defensibility of the inferences researchers make from the data collected through the use of an instrument. A reliable instrument is one that gives consistent results. Objectivity refers to the absence of subjective judgments. C. Usability. A number of practical considerations face every researcher. One of these is how easy it will be to use any instrument he or she designs or selects. The following questions arise. How long will it take to administer? Are the directions clear? Is it appropriate for the ethnic or other groups to whom it will be administered? How easy is it to score? Are the results easy to interpret? How much does it cost? Do equivalent forms exist? Have any problems been reported by others who used it? Does evidence of its reliability and validity exist? 2. Means of classifying data collection instruments. A. Who provides the information? Researchers can get the information, 1. Themselves, with little or no involvement of other people, 2. Directly from the subjects of the study, or, 3. From others, frequently referred to as informants, who are knowledgeable about the subjects. B. Where did the instrument come from? There are essentially two basic ways for a researcher to acquire an instrument. 1. Find and administer a previously existing instrument of some sort, or 2. Administer an instrument the researcher personally developed or had developed by someone else. C. Written response versus performance. Written response instruments include objective, e.g., multiple choice, true-false, matching, or short answer, tests, short essay examinations, questionnaires, interview schedules, rating scales, and checklists. Performance instruments include any device designed to measure either a procedure or a product. Written response instruments are generally preferred over performance instruments, since the use of the latter is frequently quite time-consuming and often requires equipment or other resources that are not readily available. 3. Examples of data collection instruments. A. Researcher-completed instruments. There are many types of researcher-completed instruments. Some of the more commonly used instruments are rating scales, interview schedules, observation forms, tally sheets, flowcharts, performance checklists, anecdotal records, and time and motion logs. B. Subject-completed instruments. Many types of instruments are completed by the subjects of a study rather than the researcher. Some of the more commonly used of this type are questionnaires, self-checklists, attitude scales, personality inventories, achievement, aptitude, and performance tests, and projective and sociometric devices. The types of items or questions used in subject-completed instruments can take many forms, but they all can be classified as either selection or supply items. Examples of selection items include true-false items, multiple-choice items, matching items, and interpretive exercises. Examples of supply items include short answer items and essay questions. C. Unobtrusive measures. Unobtrusive measures require no intrusion into the normal course of affairs. In most instances, no instrument is required, only some form of record keeping. 4. Norm-referenced versus criterion-referenced instruments. A. Norm-referenced instruments. All individual scores derive meaning by comparing them to the scores of a particular group. Instruments that provide scores that compare individual scores to the scores of an appropriate reference group are called norm-referenced instruments. B. Criterion-referenced instruments. Instruments that are based on a specific target for each learner to achieve are called criterion-referenced instruments. The intent of such tests is somewhat different from that of norm-referenced tests. Criterion-referenced tests focus more directly on instruction. V. Measurement scales. A. Nominal scales. A nominal scale uses numbers to indicate membership in one or more categories. B. Ordinal scales. An ordinal scale uses numbers to rank or order scores from high to low. C. Interval scales. An interval scale uses numbers to represent equal intervals in different segments on a continuum. D. Ratio scales. A ratio scale uses numbers to represent equal distances from a known 0 point. E. Measurement scales reconsidered. There are two reasons why one should have at least a rudimentary understanding of the differences between the four types of scales discussed earlier. 6. Preparing data for analysis. A. Scoring the data. Collected data must be scored accurately and consistently. B. Tabulating and coding the data. Once scored, data must be tabulated and coded.